transformation in government ecosystem, but what are the challenges also? So we have with us uh, Kumar Vinit sir, who is I've already introduced him many a times. Let me introduce him as the program chair, but also the special secretary IT and MD of UP Desco. So when we talk about transforming government service delivery, we know we have to leverage technology, we have to leverage innovation. But if I ask you that, where do you see the challenges? Where are the gaps? And what is your opinion on that, sir?
Thank you so much. Well, I will put it up in a very different perspective. Well, all of us over here engrossed in their mobiles or their social media. So in the last 2 decades, perhaps, our life has changed. And when I say our, that means the private sector, the government sector, everyone, even the individual, everyone's life has changed. Well, with the advent of the social media, there has been a very great demand of accountability and transparency from government as well. Whatever happens in Balia, maybe the SDM might not know, but the Chief Minister office might know because of the speed of the social media that is happening. So accountability and transparency is not just a service that is offered, but it is a demand. So the government has to be very clear that what are the promises made and what have been executed for the benefit of the common mass. And when I say the government has to be very clear, then that means that government has also to be very clear and to understand that we need to be more agile, because the demand of the consumer, when I say consumer, that means the service government as a servant to the service sector, that is citizen-centric services, that is increasing. So we all have to address the root causing problems at the very outset. And that too in a very time-bound manner. Mr. Srivastava is here, he's heading the NIC of so many common service centers, and he's very well aware of that, what I'm saying. Each and every service has to be delivered in time, the response has to be quick, and it has to be objectively clear. Well, there is second part of it also. And when I say client, that means consumer, that means citizen. The same citizen has the same clientele with the private sector as well. And there the service delivery has already been to a certain level of efficiency, be it banking, be it e-commerce, be it logistics. You name the services and they have identified a benchmark. So now the same citizen clientele going to 2 different organizations, one is the private sector, one is the public sector, one is the government. So now the pressure on the government is to deliver. And that is where the major part of accountability comes into it. And interestingly, there are major, comparisons as well. And it is really very heartening to see that when in the last 10 years, so-called government banks or so-called private banks, now they're into neck-to-neck competition with each other. So that is the way delivery has come up. Similarly, for me as a government also, when I say me, I don't mean me in person, I mean the organization that I represent, that is state government or a government of India or government of Uttar Pradesh. So the government has to deliver the citizen-centric services in an efficient manner, be it caste certificate, be it khatani, be it gharani, whatever. So that in my perspective is the things that have changed in a way. And just to add in a few more points, because I was really very keen into it, because the topic was very, very, very interesting. So there are certain impediments as well. Like, one impediment is technology, which is a boon as well as a bane. So initially it always happens as an impediment and later it becomes a necessity. So you remember the typewriter days, the 2-finger typist, everyone resisted. Computers nahi aa sakta. Once computer came into our system, everyone says typewriter nahi aa sakta. When typewriter was gone, computers are gone, and everyone is very much interested ki now I need to excel, I need to have a more focused IT infrastructure so that delivery mechanism for me can also be good. Because I am also overburdened as a government institution, so various IT platforms come up. Initial resistance from the government कि अरे शक्ल तो दिखेगी नहीं, पटवारी जी रिपोर्ट क्या लगाएंगे, लेखपाल साहब रिपोर्ट क्या लगाएंगे. धीरे धीरे वो सिस्टम इतना ईज आउट हो गया कि फाइन, आई एम सिटिंग इन माई विलेज, in my home, and there is a common service center just a furlong away from my place. I go there, I apply for the services, and I get the results. So this is the actual delivery mechanism that actually a citizen is aspiring to have. Now, what is the challenge with the government? To keep it afloat, to keep it going. And secondly, with full transparency, and not just transparency, but accountability, that the credibility and the credentials of the services is also maintained. So to my, I should conclude by saying that to my thinking and to my understanding, this entire scenario that has changed in the last 20 years, 20, 25 odd years, have been very beneficial both to the government, citizen, as well as private sector.
Right, right. Viniji, uh, taking cue from what you've said, you're basically saying that one is delivering government services in a time-bound manner, be accountable, uh, fast, but also at the same time, whether the government ecosystem is ready to deliver those kind of services to citizens, be it bringing accountability, be it in transparent manner, whether that technology is there or not. I think that's also you have touched upon. I have with us Gautam Nimagadda, founder and CEO of Quixi. I was just having a chat with him before this session. I was asking him that how you're helping other government departments across India. I think it's a 3-year-old company, right? And Gautam, you have just heard Mr. Kumar Vinit sharing some thoughts of the opportunities as well as challenges of transforming governance in this country or in the state. Where do you see a company like yours can add value to it, or actually look at those challenges as opportunities to solve various problems? Your take on that.
Thank you. So before I start, I just wanted to make one note, slightly unrelated topic. So that's about how Uttar Pradesh has kind of transformed over the last few years. And so I was browsing the internet, and one interesting policy that came to my mind was one district, one product. And that seems to be a very transformative in terms of not just, there are many policies, but the way the government is thinking, very transformative, very innovative, and the way that particular policy has been administered and executed, right? My salute to all the policymakers and administrators to make that happen. Uh, Policies like that and execution like that is required across India. And I believe that now states across India are trying to emulate the one district, one product policy with the help of the central government. Having said that, now
Let's come back to the point.
I was just trying to wake people up from the lunch. Anyways, so as Kumar Vinit sir rightly pointed out, so one very important trend that we keep seeing time and again is the initial resistance when a newer technology comes in, and that is innate to human nature. It's not necessarily with just governments or with just India. We see this pattern across the world. So, so we see a trend there where we see certain sections of the policymakers or certain sections of the public who are early adopters. These are the ones who drive innovation. So even in governments, when we see certain departments or certain officers or certain policymakers who are early adopters, who understand the value of newer technology, they adopt the newer technology much faster. And they're the ones who bring that, the value of new technology and demonstrate that through execution. And once that initial traction is hit, whether it is artificial intelligence or no code, like that, which is kind of what we do, we see that these initial adopters actually drive innovation not just in their governments, but not just in their department, but across the government sector. So that's one part in terms of how innovation is being driven. Another key trend that we've observed is there are two facets to any government. One is, as again Kumar Vinit sir pointed out, one is client experience. So in private, you use it as client experience, but here we can also call it citizen experience. The other is internal employee experience. So we strongly believe that if the employee experience is fantastic, that's when the client experience will be also very good. So there is a lot of focus on client experience, but we've also noticed that there's not enough on the employee experience. So which means that the level of technology that can be used to make the internal processes of any government department, no matter the size or no matter the function, if it can be made.
Hello.
Thank you, sir. So if we can build these great solutions for improving employee experience, no matter the function, these empowered employees through technology will in turn be able to provide great customer experience, and which is what the end goal of any government is, to be able to drive extremely good citizen services.
Right. This is interesting, Viniji, because we were in the inaugural session. There also we heard similar kind of talk, but that came from the government perspective. You remember, Ajitav ji was talking about that. We are talking about citizens delivering the services, but what about the change in the government ecosystem itself? And he's also talking about that. How can we bring transformation in the internal mode of operations, right? So he's saying that you talked about agile. I think what he's coming at that, if the government workforce is agile, they are ready to embrace the technology, there'll be a more better position to deliver services to citizens in a more efficient manner. That's what you're trying to say, right? So, Viniji, what will be your take on that?
Very rightly said that yes, we need to have a call on that. But when you talk about government, we have to carry a BMW and a Belgadi together on the same platform, with the same concept, with the same services and the same reach. So I just continue to what he was saying, Gautam was saying. I'll give you an example. For example, Honorable CM Helpline. So now CM Helpline has, you can text it, you can mail it, you can put an application, you can give a call, you can put an online sort of a thing. So if you are tech savvy, you go through this position. If you are not tech savvy, just take a call and do it. But either way, it comes to one platform. So that is what government has to come up to. Because for government, every citizen is, irrespective of the condition he or she may be in, they are the same. So that is the agility that I was talking about, and that is what is actually being built up. To add to it, second part that government has to take up is to enable things. When I say enable things, that means a citizen has to have a good access to the infrastructure, one. And secondly, easy access to the facilities that are available on those infrastructures. So, for example, every village need to have a fast communication mechanism, so an OFC cable or optical fiber cable has to be there. Government of India is already working on it, state government is also working on it. Now, second part, to use that facility that is already available at the say panchayat level, we need to develop a mechanism where a common citizen can reach and have the services that is available over there. Panchayati Raj department is doing the same. So now in each panchayat in Uttar Pradesh, we are doing a pilot in say 10% of them, and slowly in the next 1 year we are going to have it in each and every panchayat. There will be a mini secretariat, sort of a thing, where IT facilities, IT infrastructure, not just available, but accessible as well. So I'm talking about two things. One thing is availability of water, everyone can have water. But second thing, whether that availability of water is for a common citizen as well, whether there is a tap which is free for cost, or which is at an affordable cost. So I can have a water, this water costs around 300 rupees, Himalaya water costs around 300 rupees, but I should have a water, tap water, which is free of cost. And for both of us, water is a requirement. Similarly, for a government, every citizen is on a common platform. So that is what, when I said agility, that is what I meant by government's agility. And that is building up. Third thing. So when I said infrastructure, second was accessibility, and third thing is enabling the citizen. So, Mani Mukhyamantri ji just announced a very ambitious scheme last year and it was continued this year, that is Swami Vivekanand tablet smartphone scheme. In Uttar Pradesh, one of the only state in India where this scheme is not just meant to give a tablet or a smartphone, that's it, no. To enable. One is that you have a tablet, you have a device which might have a cost embedded to it. Then there is a Wi-Fi infrastructure available in your colleges, which is also being pushed up by PM Vani, and at village level through BharatNet, second infrastructure. Third is that to have free access to various online activities, various online subject materials. This entire concept is being run through DigiShakti, where we have a education app through which we send links so that students can access those links and be able to access and be at par with someone who has spent maybe thousands to have some access to a content. Government is also preparing a similar content, free of cost, accessibility and enabling. So infrastructure, enabling and letting that infrastructure access is what government is actually working on it. And I must conclude by saying that Uttar Pradesh has been very keen into it. In the last couple of years, we have really done a wonderful job in it, but that doesn't mean we just keep our pat our backs and be silent on it. Mani Pradhan Mantri ji was very clear on when we went to Gujarat a couple of months back. So we were very happy कि हाँ यार UPI अच्छा कर लिया, कॉमन सर्विस सेंटर बहुत अच्छा कर लिया, ये बहुत अच्छा कर लिया. प्रधानमंत्री जी ने केवल 5 मिनट में सारी चीज़ें समराइज कर ली. चलो ये कर लिया, अच्छी बात, आगे बढ़ो. कम टू भाषणी, भाषा दान करो. If you have the knowledge, you want to translate your knowledge into certain voice related activities which can go free of cost for so many people. So there is a Bhashini tab app that is developing by Government of India, which is going to be made accessible. So that is how government is trying to reinvent and redevelop. Thank you.
Right. So you talked about the infrastructure, enabling the infrastructure and the accessibility. I'll end this fireside chat with a take from Gautam. Gautam, you just heard Kumar Vinitji, your thoughts on this infrastructure, accessibility, and enabling the ecosystem. Again, where do you see the opportunity of collaboration between government and industry in that?
So when we are trying to build infrastructure and enable citizens and provide accessibility, right? So there are two key elements in this. One is time, the other is cost. So as technology providers, how can we make these solutions to the citizens by enabling government to reduce their time to delivery and reduce their cost of delivery of services or products to the citizens. So through innovative technologies, where something can be built in a year, if we are able to do it in a month, that drastically improves the government's ability to be able to in turn serve and deliver the services to the citizens so much more faster.
Right. So I think we have come to the end of this fireside chat, and if I take a crux of what has been discussed for last 20, 30 minutes is that what Vinitji has said, that infrastructure, access and enabling the ecosystem, and if I take a cue from what Gautam has said, that how you are helping the government ecosystem in various states or in government of India, solving their problems in the digital transformation journey by, again, leveraging technology. I think I can see a lot of collaborative opportunities have been churned out of this discussion, which might help the state of UP in near future. Thank you so much, Mr. Kumar Vinita and Mr. Gautam Nimagadda, founder and CEO of Pixie. With this, we have come to the end of this session. I'll request Sangamita Mohdri to come on stage and hand over the speaker memento to our esteemed speakers. We can start with Gautam Nimagadda, founder and CEO of Pixie, and of course to